All right, so today we're gonna be rebuilding the KX250. Got all the parts in. We're just gonna go and clean up these cases and the parts washer, clean all the parts, and go and throw this thing back together. We have the bearing, well, the crankshaft, the old one that just came out of the freezer. We're gonna try to get this bearing off right now. We have the new crankshaft in there with the bearing that goes right here also. Once we get this bearing off, we're gonna freeze it again, heat this case up, heat this side of the case up, and then take those bearings out of the freezer, throw them in here, and then go on and finish assembling this engine. So let's get to it. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take this bearing and put it in the freezer for a little while so we can go and put it back in the case. I'm gonna go and heat up this bearing section right here, but you gotta be careful because there's a seal right there. So just try to heat it up as much as you can around the outside. And then I'm gonna go and grab the other bearing, put that one in there while I take this one inside and freeze it for a little while so we can put this one in there. But after we get the bearings in, we're gonna clean up the cases, the left and right side, and then we'll go and start installing the components, the crankshaft, all the transmission components, and go and put these cases back together. Yep, good to go. We'll go and throw these things in the parts washer and start washing them. All right, so we got our cases all cleaned up, got our crankshaft out of the freezer, got our bearing out of the freezer also, so we can go and heat this case up and slide this bearing in. Maximum assembly lube on all the bearings, especially since we washed these cases. Got all the grease out of the bearings when we washed the cases, so. Make sure everything works as it should. And it does beautifully. Now we can go and install the transmission components. All right, so just make sure everything's working properly. Transmission spins freely. Crankshaft also spins freely, so everything is looking good in the bottom end. I'm gonna go and spray these out with brake cleaner real quick, and then go ahead and install these, and then we can go ahead and put some sealant around the case itself. We can go and stick these cases together. All right, the clutch cover's on. Well, the clutch cover case is on. Got to put a new oil filter in, go on and put the water pump on, and then we can go on and put this clutch cover on. Clutch side on, got the piston and the cylinder in. Now we can go and throw the valve stack on. Got all the bolts torqued inside. Now we can go on and put the camshafts in here. Got the timing marks all lined up, top and bottom.
out the way.
All right, we got all the motor mounts in. Just got to torque them up. All right, here it is. Got the bike all built. Yeah, everything's put together. We tried to kick it over last night. It wouldn't start. So I'm probably gonna have to look at the carb and then double check the valves. All right, so in order to get the valves adjusted, what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to get loosen the cam chain tensioner and go and pull it out. We can go and loosen these up, and then we can go and take the cams out. All right, so we got the camshafts off. Now we got to get to the buckets and then get the shims underneath it, measure them, and then get it to the right clearance. All right, so I got all the shims out, measured all the shims, and they're definitely going to need to be adjusted. My shim kit that I got is not the same size as for Kawasaki's. I'm gonna have to order some different ones, some smaller ones. All right, so now we're gonna go and break the carburetor down. I'm going to get it, clean all the jets out, make sure it's good and clean, it's not gummed up or anything. Yep, that's it for the carb clean. All right, we got all our correct shims right here, our new ones right here, and the old ones on the right side. So now we can go and install these shims, go and put the buckets back in, and then we can go and throw our cams in, get the timing chain right, and then we can go and put the valve cover on and start assembling the rest of this bike.
Ready to do it?
Yes, sir. All right, let's see what she does. Dang, that was first kick.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but the KX250 is gone. Back to our original owner. So now just gotta clean up our mess. And on to the next one. I'm just gonna keep it moving.